Hi, I'm Lita Iridium. Hope you're doing okay today. Album review time. So, when anyone talks of bands, rock or metal, that come from Australia, probably the band that comes to mind, and you're probably thinking the same band now as I'm thinking, AC/DC, although it's half Australian near enough. But you don't hear much coming out of Australia. I do know a couple of great bands that I've reviewed coming out of Australia. But, when you have to name a few, you don't get many. This band that are coming out of Australia, on the other hand, are absolutely amazing. They've got their debut album coming out on September the 24th, and the band is called Wicked Smile. The album is called Wait for the Night. Now, my friend Paul Relay, subscriber, introduced me to this band. He sent me a link. He said, "This is a great song." I reacted to it. I loved it. It was one of their singles. Absolutely loved it. So, ended up sending it to the band. I've actually been sent an early copy of the album, a promotional copy, if you like. And this is not often I say this. This is contender for album of the year, and there has been some amazing albums this year so far, and I don't say that lightly. You can hear me often say this is going to be in my top 10. This is going to, this is going to be close to the top. I don't often say contender for album of the year. I'm serious now. This album is amazing. It's absolutely knocked me for six. It is brilliant. So, the band itself, Danny Sakati on vocals, Steve Janevsky and Dave Graham on the guitars, Glenn Cav on the bass, and Jason Tyro on the drums. Now, this band have had an EP out last year actually called Delirium. I haven't heard that before. Like I said, the first time I heard this band was reacting to one of the singles. I'm definitely going to go and check out that EP now. So I'm lucky enough to have this land on my lap. And I'm just shocked how good it is. Honestly, it is. There's no faults in this album whatsoever. I don't often say that. I do go through it track by track. But first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about how this album sounds. So it's produced by Paul Lane. A lot of people know him from Danger Danger or The Defiance. He has made this album sound amazing. It's also mastered by Bruno Ravel. So between them, who also does stuff with Danger Danger and The Defiance, between them, they have made a fantastic sounding album. And bear in mind, I don't even know if I've got the final sounding copy because it's just a promo link. But as it is, it sounds amazing. And what you don't get, what you do get with Defiance, because it's that sort of AOR music, melodic rock, this isn't that sort of production, although that's great for that music. This has a heaviness about it, a rawness, an energy that you just is unbelievable, running through every track on this album. Talking about energy, it's such an energetic album. It is just brimming with energy, a hungry band that is just want to be big. That's what it sounds like. Just like a lot of debut albums sound like. You've got to realise that some bands never better their debut album. This is going to take some beating from this band, but they've got so much talent. Danny Sakati, on the vocals, does an amazing job. He's got on his lower range, all through his ranges, he's just fantastic. He's got an excellent tone to his voice on the lower range, and then he reaches. It's almost sort of a power metal sort of type vocal, but this is not power metal, by the way. But it's got that sort of real sort of, he can hit some heights. He's got some real character to his voice as well. An amazing vocalist. He's also on something else that I've found recently, which is coming out soon, the Darkhold album. So if anyone checks out my reactions, you would have heard him on the first Darkhold reaction I did. An amazing voice, and it suits that music as well, but it also suits this. Steve Janevsky and Dave Graham on the guitars. Man, they smashed this album. It's heavy, it's riffy, it's melodic, it's twin leads all over it. Absolutely fantastic. And not last but least, Glenn Cav and Jason Triro, the bassist and the drummer, do an amazing job of laying down the rhythm on this. They just keep it so tight. It sounds heavy, and they're a lot to do with how heavy it sounds. There's a lot of chugging moments, and you've got the bass going along with that chugging guitar. These guys are amazing. I don't know where they've all come from, but they're blowing my mind. They really are. So what does this album sound like? Bands. Now, when you always read a biography or synopsis of the band, it always tells you what it sounds like. And sometimes it's not right. It's nothing like it tells you. This bio, I agree with most of it. But this bio says Skid Row, Priest, Maiden, Dio. Now, I can hear some definite Skid Row moments, Slave to the Grind type moments. Definitely some Maiden moments because you get some twin leads and melodies and stuff like that. Not sure about Priest. Definitely Dio. And that's especially a couple of tracks on here, especially one really has Dio vibes. Even Black Sabbath era Dio. And them bands there, you're talking at the height of their, Skid Row and Slave to the Grind. You're talking Dio, the sort of stuff you was getting out of the Heaven and Hell Mob Rules albums, on Black Sabbath albums, or the Holy Diver and Last in Line, the best stuff of Dio. Maiden, you can hear, it's more about the guitar melodies with Maiden. So it's a brilliant sounding album. The guys are fantastic in the band. They are just absolutely brilliant. It's a relentless energized album. It really is. You got to hear it to believe it. I'm just really happy to hear this. I just think it's one of the best albums that's out this year so far, without a doubt. I do run through track by track. Date with the Devil is first. After what sounds like a sort of short bass intro, it's sort of got a lot of effect on it. We're into the first bit of heavy chugging guitar. Those riffs are just brilliant. You've got soaring vocals over them chugging guitars. The energy straight away is there. It's like a medium pace song. It's perfect for an opener. It's catchy, it's heavy, it's melodic. It's a little sleazy, this one. So that's where you're talking about the Skid Row type influences a little bit. The perfect opener, great live song. Some of these songs, they're going to sound brilliant live. Wait for the Night is next, which is the title track. A great riff kicks in. Another medium pace song. Is a sort of short twin lead, and then we're off again. Such a hooky chorus. The energy is ramping up again. Backing vocals also used to great effects, and not just in this song, but all over this album. And a blistering solo. These guys just are amazing. Some of the best guitaring I've heard this year, on any album for many years. Brilliant. We Fall is next. So we get a sort of a 1, 2, 3 punch straight off the gate. Just perfect track listing. So we get into the third song. A dirty, heavy riff kicks in this time. This is sort of medium pace, but a little bit slower than the first two songs. Man, this is one of the best starts to an album I've heard for a long time. We go from that dirty riff into another soaring chorus. It honestly doesn't get much better than this in hard rock and metal, without a doubt. Another amazing solo where both guitarists flex their muscles like they do within and out. They swap about, they twin lead. Amazing. Next up is an absolutely 10 out of 10 track. It's called Sign of Times. The first sign of sort of the relentless energy and metal that we've had so far. But, the excellence is still kept up even more. It's ramped up even more. So they slowed things down almost to a doomy sort of pace. But you sort of, this is where we enter that Dio-esque sort of plodding pace. But I love it. They're brilliant at it. This song sounds absolutely huge. The vocals are blowing my mind on this one. He just soars to heights that are amazing. The heaviness is broken up beautifully by a sort of a short acoustic intro. Parts at the beginning, there's an intro, and there's a part halfway through-ish where it sort of goes into that acoustic part. Just Dio-esque, you know what I mean? When Dio used to do those little quiet parts, that's just what this is like. And then that quiet part just before the solo, but it's weird when it comes out of the quiet parts, it just makes the heavy part so heavy. Brilliant. Days of Delirium is next. The pace is picked up again on this one. It's medium paced again, but faster than the last track. Those riffs, man, it's just chugging, cutting through. The chorus reminds me of something Eclipse would write, the band Eclipse. Anyone watching this show will know that Eclipse are one of my favourite bands. There's really no drop in quality through every track on this album. Twin lead solos in this one, outstanding. They really are. Killer at Large is next. I think this was the first single. So this is a brilliant track, another strong start, and it just hits you. Again, another song hits you with surprise after surprise of how good it is. This band are so good at giving you those vibes of the past, but they sort of sound so fresh at the same time, so they give you them 80s metal feels, but always hit you with something surprising. Yet another chorus to die for. Another Eclipse, to me, sounded a little bit Eclipse sounding. I don't think these guys would do anything like that. I think it's just a natural songwriting making it sound like that. Last Goodbye is next. You were always a restless child with the look in your eyes. This is the reaction that I did, that Paul sent to me. Sort of a Whitesnake post 1987 riff kicking this off. These guys are just effortless at them being melodic. It's just all over this album. I love this song, but somehow it's weird. Love this track. Absolutely love this track, Last Goodbye. Loved it when I heard it. It's literally, for me, the weakest track on the album, which just shows you how brilliant the rest of the album is. Next up is Love's Got a Hold on You. This is medium paced again. After a short intro, it bursts into a sort of a slave to the grind era, heavy, fucking fuck off riff. The chorus lifts again after the heaviness of the verses. So they were so good at this, giving you heaviness. But then when it reaches that chorus, it just hits you with the melodic side. It so soars so much, this chorus. The perfect mix of heavy but melodic music. Beautiful melodic solo as well, showing real restraint on the solo. Just thinking about the melody all the time. Next up is a ballad, Don't Wait For Me. So it slows things right down now. Acoustic guitar, vocal beginning. Vocalist uses his falsetto actually at the beginning of this. It's just amazing vocals. This definitely has a somewhat sort of European feel to it, which is a bit strange because they're Australian. Real heartfelt, emotional solo. It's a real strong ballad, this one. Amazing song. Next up is Stronger. So this is the last track. You only get 10 tracks, so it's in and out. It hits you, not too long. It's just the brilliant sort of 10 tracks is perfect. And this is Stronger, it's called. For the last track, the band get heavy again. Medium to fast paced song. Again, I hear those Skid Row influence all over this. That sort of chorus just does never let you down. I don't think there's one chorus on here I wasn't amazed at. Solo, yet again, is so well written, melodic, and so technical as well. It caps off, like what I said, could be album of the year. No exaggeration. You got to hear this. It's heavy. It's so melodic. It's so technical. These guys have smashed it out of the park. They sound like they've been together for years. They really do. You got to hear this album, man. Honestly, I can't recommend this enough. You know, I'm battling what's my top album so far. I can't believe that this, debut album could literally be my #1 album of the year. Amazing. Totally recommended. Get this. Order it. Do whatever you got to do. Support the band. Absolutely amazing. It ain't coming out though till September the 24th. Wicked Smile. Wait for the Night. Amazing. Get it.